Welcome to an episode of Founder in the Chair. Today I have a father and son duo with me who went from running a part-time market stall in Farringdon to BBC's Saturday Kitchen Live. After establishing themselves as the most in-demand Indian street food caterer in the country, Gully's vibrant food trucks are purpose-built for weddings, birthdays, corporate events and huge festivals. You can catch them this summer at Lord's Cricket Ground, Hampton Court Flower Show, Glastonbury and so many more places. I am so honoured to welcome the daddy of the business, Sudhir, and the son, Avi. Welcome.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So tell me, let's start with you, Sudhir.
Yeah.
How did this all start? Because I know this was your little brainchild.
Well, yeah, it was kind of like to get out of their hair. I was retired for a while.
Okay.
And I was getting on top of the wife and the kids' nerves, sitting there trying to order them around and no one would listen.
Oh.
So they thought they better put me back to work.
Exactly, yeah.
So Avi came up with this idea. He goes, Dad, you love cooking. I said, he knows I love cooking. And he goes, Dad, there's this one place in Paddington you've got to go and see. And I reluctantly he said, I think you tried it for quite a while, didn't you? I kept on saying, nah, I'm enjoying this. And then all of a sudden, one day, he said, just come and taste the food. So I went there and I saw this guy working away in the truck and everything, and I loved it. I was kind of mesmerized. I think I stood there for about 2 hours just watching it.
Yeah.
So it was just gorgeous, and I loved it. I got attracted to street food there and then. I mean, I already did a lot of cooking at home anyway, all the time. So that's where the passion comes from. And also, obviously, my parents as well. I always used to help my mum shopping in Wembley and things like that, getting the fresh fruits and things.
Yeah.
And I think I watched her cook, and I used to love it. I've been cooking since you were kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Even at uni, when I was dating my wife, at that time, I used to get on the phone to my mum, say, Mum, aake dum banande. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's how I learned.
So this food truck, did you started imagining yourself standing in that food truck
Yeah,
when you went to watch
exactly. Just it's that vision, isn't it? You
Yeah.
have that vision board kind of thing to say, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then we just set up Avi's idea that, okay, let's start slowly, Dad. Don't go the whole hog.
Yeah. So Avi, how did you get Dad to start then?
Well, yeah, like I said, I brought him up to... I used to work in the city, so I used to work near that market in Paddington. There was actually one in Paddington and one in Farringdon. I said, come for lunch with me one day. Come check it out. So we saw this guy, like Dad said, cooking all these Indian chicken tikka wraps, and he loved it. So I was like, Dad, why don't we do that? You know, keep you out of retirement. One day a week, every Wednesday, we'll go there. We'll set up a gazebo in the morning. You can serve your food, close up in the afternoon and come home. You know, ignite your passion. So we actually started that in Jan 2020, of all years to start a business.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So for 3 months, he got there, he set up in the morning, then I'd run from my lunch break to go and help him on the tills. My sister would come from her kind of office job as well to help do the wraps. And it was a bit of a family affair.
Wow, that's so cute.
Yeah. And my wife as well. So all of us kind of jumped in and all of us were helping where we could. And we started and we did it for about 10 weeks. So once a week in Farringdon, we had a little gazebo. It was something very humble. And the queue started building, and we were known as Gully Wraps back then. And we just used to focus on kind of almost like an Indian Subway where we make your wraps in front of you. So all going really well, really enjoying it. And suddenly, boom, March 2020 hits and we go into our first lockdown. And that's when we had to kind of start again.
But that was probably a blessing for you then, because you then thought, well, what are we going to do next?
You know what? For some people, obviously, COVID was a tough time. For us, actually, it was a good time because it gave us time to reflect. And we all, in fact, moved. I used to live in the city then, and I moved back with my parents for that period. And it happened one day, we're having dinner kind of in lockdown as you do in April or May that year. And we were having a conversation around the table and we're like, Dad, did you enjoy what we were doing out there that one day a week? And Dad was like, I'm missing it so much. I'd love to do it again. So I'm like, well, look, we can use this time one way or another. We either kind of just sit down and we wait for something to the world to reopen again.
Yeah.
We try and use this time as productively as possible while we're all at home.
Yeah.
So we obviously went for the latter. So we went on to ebay.co.uk and we said, food trucks for sale. And we found a really old one that was there that someone was selling because of lockdown.
Yeah.
And we bought like a very plain white food truck off someone. that year. I think it was in April, May. And then we went on like a 3-month project to try and build the most kind of vibrant street food truck in the country. And we had time and space for this.
Yeah.
So yeah, we then started contacting people in India. We're like, we want to build the most vibrant Indian food truck. Can you start designing the artwork? And then we went to Cardiff to find these special people who could manufacture the truck. And we got it wrapped in different places. And we're taking this truck all the way around the country, still under the right guidelines,
Yes.
to build something that then... We then filmed a really cool video in August 2020, just as we got out of the first lockdown.
Yeah.
Put it on Facebook, and this is 5 years ago when Reels weren't really a thing.
Yeah.
But that video got, I think, it was about 20,000 views in the first 24 hours.
Wow.
And
that's
then
a lot for Facebook.
it's a lot for Facebook, and
Yeah.
back then when Reels and things weren't a
Yeah.
thing, video content wasn't as common as it is now. And then suddenly we started getting all these inquiries coming. You're like, oh, we just saw your truck. Can you do our wedding? Oh, we saw your truck. Can you do our birthday? And we were like, whoa, there's only 2 of us. And we don't even have a team right now.
Yeah. And there's one truck.
And it's one truck. How have we got into this situation? And then from there, Gully was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then did you buy more trucks or did you do gazebos, mixture?
Then we did it.
Yeah, a couple
years.
No. What happened was there was a few months there, and then actually the big thing that happened was we started to do a few events from August onwards. Very small markets with our really cool truck. We're probably too big for the markets we were doing at that size in terms of the size of our truck. And then in about September that year, so only literally 2 months after we launched the truck, we got an email into our inbox from selfridges.co.uk saying, we're launching our first ever Christmas market and we've seen your truck and we'd love you to be at our market.
Wow.
So pinch yourself later, we're like, shit, we have to now hire a team. We have to figure this out. And December that year, we're at Selfridges Christmas Market as one of their kind of 5 main suppliers. And it was absolutely crazy to think of an idea that started in January with a little gazebo in Farringdon is now at Selfridges within 12 months and set up by 2 people who really have had no professional experience in catering or food or street food in any way.
So picking up on that, so for people who are listening,
Yep.
like you said, you had no experience in
Yep.
it.
0.
What
Still do.
advice would you give or a tip to start if there's someone thinking, I want to do that?
Yeah. Well, you go first because I think you're...
I think the first tip I would say is contact the local authorities. Make sure you've got your licenses. That's very important. And also your hygienes. If they're thinking of street food, it's hygiene certificates and things. So you got to go to someone like NCAS or one of the bodies that will give you, will teach you how to follow the process. And they're very good, really good. I mean, in fact, I rang them this morning for another bit of help I needed. So people like that, there's lots of people like that are out there. And then half the thing is, you got to try. You got to work hard at it. You can't just say, well, I've hit a brick wall, I'm going to stop here. No, you've got to just power through that wall. There's always a solution. There's always a solution to everything in life. And you've got to find that solution. Maybe a bit difficult, but we always found it. I mean, there were times when at one time, I had an event where I had to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Woke up at 4, loaded the van up, and next thing I know is the tyres punctured. Oh. So you're rushing around panicking, but you managed to do it. You still kind of like, you have to find out. I've never changed a tyre on a van. I've done it on lots of cars. But finding the levers and doing all of that, it's not easy, but you have to just persevere and do it. Don't give up. Never give up.
I love
Just
that.
follow your dream.
Yeah.
What would you say, Avi?
For starting a business or starting a business in street food? Because they're probably 2 different things.
Let's go with street food.
Street food. Well, the food industry is always difficult, notoriously difficult. A lot of people who get into street food, you don't do it for money. You do it for passion. There are other businesses you might do for money, but definitely food is all about love and creating something. And it's not about trying to look at your profit margin because most restaurants or street food businesses don't do that well profitably from that perspective. So if you start with passion and love and trying to build a brand and try and create something different, that's what should be your motivator. And I think then you'll succeed. Obviously, there are the business things people say about, hiring the right people, watching your cost margins. But I think at the beginning, it's all about delivering the best customer experience. Start with, would I want to eat from this food truck or from this restaurant or from this stall, and then work backwards.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other way, saying, okay, how do I get, the cheapest supplies in to improve my kind of profit margins?
Yeah. So how did you think of the name Gully?
Gully, well, obviously in Hindi, Gully means street.
Yes.
And we're Indian street food. So that was quite obvious. But actually what really helped was at that time, that film Gully Boy had just come out.
Okay,
It was around that era. And we all liked that film. And we thought, what a perfect kind of name.
Mum thought.
yeah.
Thought of that,
My mum thought of that. Yeah.
We're giving credit to mum.
But now Dad's renamed as Mr. Gully. So wherever he goes,
oh, there's Mr. Gully.
even some people call him Gully Uncle, and I'm like, that's not his name. His name's Sudhir.
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird.
Yeah.
That is such a cool idea, though. So now that you've found your suppliers who did all the design work and then they started fitting out your trucks, how many trucks do you have now?
So we've got 2 food trucks and we've got 2 gazebo festival setups that are made from kind of external materials. So yeah, we have 4 setups normally in a day. So like throughout summer, this summer period, we have like about 4 events a day. Some at festivals, some at weddings, some at private events.
So your dad was saying earlier before we started this podcast that having the right staff and looking after them.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And start from the top down was one advice that worked really well for us. And I believe that for most businesses, hire a very good management team and then work down rather than the other way around. The other way around, because you want the management team you build to feel like it's their company.
Yes.
And if you're bringing them on that journey from day one where you're a gazebo and you're working all the way up, like it's much easier for them to hire their own team and trust their own team rather than kind of hiring all the junior associates and then trying to plug them in to a team that already exists. So that's what worked really well from us, and I would do the same thing again.
Yeah, I actually think more. I mean, I want to go one step further in that way. I really feel like Gully, we all work as a family. Everyone, our managers, even down to the food service, they all realize that we've got to work together, and we look after each other, but in the good times and the bad times.
Yeah.
So we're there for family purposes, and it's just amazing. I really do look at my staff as my family. No, I shouldn't say staff, my family.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That is really nice. And do you still have your sister, mum, everyone coming to help as well?
We've probably outgrown that now. So
Okay.
we're now, originally in the days, and now we're at about 30 team members in total.
Wow, okay.
So we've had to grow. We have to move to warehouses. We've expanded a bit. So we had to stop running it all from the house. Now it's all a bit more professional.
So just going back to Sudhir, when you retired, how long were you retired for before Avi took you to see this food truck?
6-7 months, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I wanted to play a lot more golf and things, but I think staying at home, my wife couldn't find enough things to give me keep me
Your
busy.
to-do list.
Yeah.
No, but on a more serious note, retirement isn't as easy as people think it is, right? From your experience.
Not at all. Not at all. You sit there, you don't have much to do. It's like we had the conversations that mentally you got to keep fit all the time. You got to keep doing things, just so. For one, you're active. For two, mentally, you want to see what's always out there. Because we're at the age of 60, 65, whenever people decide to retire, it's just you got to carry on with life. You can't just stop all of a sudden and realize, hang on, where are my hobbies? What am I going to do next? It's not the right thing.
I always say to people I'm going to retire in 2 years at 55, and all my friends laugh at me. They're like, Vina, you like do 100 things at once. How are you going to retire? I've even got a countdown calendar. Like, I don't know, I think it's 700 and something days till I want to draw my pension and semi-retire. But I don't know. It's probably not going to happen.
Add us to the countdown. We'll see. We'll wait and see. We'll give you a call then.
No, you're right, and that's a really important point about retirement, because when you've worked all your life and you think you're going to get to this amazing time when you retire and you're just going to have all the time in the world to do all the things you love, but it gets boring. Yeah.
And one thing I've found a lot is I've learned a lot in this trade. Because we didn't, like we mentioned earlier, there was nothing, we weren't professionals in the trade. So I've learned on how the food packing goes, and how to, how we do all our food packing. And I know it sounds you just pack food, but there's a lot of science behind it, all temperature. And then the other thing is, now going on to this business, then I've had to learn about operations. How do we cook so much food? How do we feed 1,000 people at lunchtime? So things like that, you got to and keep the vans and everything. There's so much behind it that you're always constantly learning something new. And I think that's what keeps the mind busy and yourself healthy.
Yeah.
And it's every day is different.
Yeah.
I first experienced your food truck. So you were at Mercedes-Benz in Brentford.
Oh yeah, probably.
And my partner went to service his car, and he brought home 2 chicken tikka wraps.
Yeah.
Right.
And he went, try this, and he's showing me your Instagram. And he was going to look at their truck. And I tried it. I was like, wow, it's really interesting. So that's when I first, I think that was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
and I just started following you, and then I saw you on TV. And
Uh,
tell me about that experience.
oh,
How
Saturday
was
Kitchen
that?
Live. Oh, that
Yes.
was crazy. Yeah. It's still a pinch me moment, right? It's like, how did we get onto live TV and
Yeah.
cook? And I even can't cook as well, so why am I on TV cooking? But yeah, it was one of those where I think we've built Gully as authentically as possible. It really has been, father and son involved in our weekly meetings right from the front. We have a great team, like I've said, and each year we've grown one way or another, right? So like I said, we started with the gazebo, we then had a food truck. The next year we bought another food truck. The next year we moved to a warehouse, and we had a gazebo set up. And then we started getting into bigger and bigger events, from kind of small markets through to now Glastonbury and Wimbledon and Henley Regatta and the Formula One. I don't think there's anywhere left that we're not in or haven't been
Wow.
invited to. So everything escalated so quickly in the space of 3 to 4 years that we then, out of nowhere, we get an email like with a week's notice being like, we just saw you. We've got Father's Day coming up, and we'd love for you to come on Saturday Kitchen Live. And today's Tuesday. Can you come on Friday for rehearsals and Saturday be on the show? And I'm like, whoa. And back then, I was in a corporate job,
Yeah.
so I had to like quickly get annual leave to be like, can I get annual leave on Friday? And Dad, by the way, we're going on Saturday Kitchen Live. And there was panic stations for maybe 48 hours. Like, what are we going to cook? Can we cook this? How is it all going to work?
Yeah.
And then we went on Friday for the rehearsals and met Matt and his team there. And they're really friendly. They made us feel so welcome. And we did a few rehearsals. All seemed to go well. And then Saturday morning, we're there at 5 a.m. Another rehearsal in the morning, and then we go actually live. It's actually live. You know when people say Saturday
Yeah.
Kitchen Live, no, it's like a 2-second
actually
delay or
live.
something. So it's And then we did it there, and we were 7 or 8 minutes there, and it was good fun chatting to them all. And
Yeah, it's amazing how relaxed they make you feel.
Yeah.
Though.
Mm.
And
yeah,
it's another mesmerizing experience.
it's one of those kind of stamps we have on our passport in life. It's like, no matter what happens to Gully or our lives, we'll always remember that moment. Yeah.
And it's so nice that you were comfortable as
Yeah.
well, because the rehearsals, didn't realise you have 3 rehearsals. You had one
Yeah,
at 5 a.m.
yeah.
as
One
well.
on Friday, one Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and one and then the live show.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So, we have this drink.
Yep.
Dorsha. Avi, tell us more about this. How did this come about?
Yeah, so Dorsha's a more of a relatively newer brand. It's actually still within its first 6 months.
Okay.
But where it came from was we were at Glastonbury, and we had a really long queue. We've been at Glastonbury for a few years now, and we've built up a bit of a reputation there. And people were queuing up for our very authentically made Indian street food. And when I say authentically made, so this, still makes it with his team there, all in kind of our kitchen. So it's all very authentic. It's not outsourced. Our food's all still made from us. And people are coming for, our lamb keema or chicken tikka, all these different things, or paneer or chickpea. And then they're asking for a drink. And all we're offering them is Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, Fanta. And it's a bit crazy. It's like, surely, food's really evolved now. People come from an authentic experience. And all I can offer them is the most common drinks you can get anywhere. So I started to think, like, surely there must be an alternative for an Indian but healthy drink, because everyone's looking now for kind of functional beverage. And then on top of all of that, in parallel, me and my sister, we both have a strong passion for Ayurveda. We've both been following it for many years, been taking all my kind of supplements, pills. I've been on Ayurvedic detoxes,
Okay.
also done some training in that as well. And I thought, can I marry the two together, like an Indian drink that tastes nice, but also has the fundamental principles of Ayurveda all put together?
Yeah.
So we went on a journey for, early last year, speaking to Ayurvedic doctors across India and in the UK, and then working with different bodies to go, can we build, the first Ayurvedic drink that's ready to go in a can that tastes nice, but also has the right Ayurvedic herbs? So my sister's also a co-founder in that business, and she's really driving that. And yeah, as of 6 months ago, we've come up with Dorsha, which I don't know for those who don't know what Dorsha means. That in Ayurveda, they believe there's 3 kind of dosha types, or 3 dosha energies: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. We're all kind of a constitution of some of them in some quantity or the other. So each drink's actually got different herbs in them to help balance your dosha and bring different effects or impacts. So the one, in fact, Veena, you're drinking there is the peace and calm drink, which is actually meant for balancing the Vata dosha. So it's got herbs in it like ashwagandha. In that, it's got different ginger in there, sea buckthorn, so different calming herbs in there that are good for your Vata, but also kind of low calorie drinks, 20 calories, no added sugar, all those kind of good things to make sure it's right for the new generation.
I know you mentioned them. Can you tell us what they mean in English, the 3?
Yeah, so Vata's kind of
fire.
Vata's the air, kind of the air, the space type of dosha. So it's all about bringing kind of the air down if you're trying to reduce Vata. Pitta is the fire energy, and Kapha is the earth energy. So that's why they've all got very different herbs to account for that.
And there's three
Three drinks, 3 different flavors. So that's raspberry and mint. This is mango and coconut, and then the cuffer one is lemon and peach.
So now you offer these on the food trucks.
Yep, we offer these things selling very well at Gully. People are really liking them. We're now at a lot of health shops across London.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all going well.
So from food trucks to a drink. Anything else that you do, Avi?
Potentially, but maybe not for the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely an entrepreneur now.
Yeah, really enjoying it.
So if somebody wanted to launch a drink, for
Yep.
example, so like you gave tips earlier with food trucks, how did you bring this to market? How did you bring this product to market?
So to make a drink, you have to, again, there's a lot of compliance around it. You can't just put something together in your house and then start selling it. Again, you have to go through regulations for the right reasons. So I always recommend to work with a flavor house.
Okay.
So there are different companies out there. If you literally type them into Google, that will show you, take you on an end-to-end process from flavor, tasting to then calorie counting, herbs, making sure it's got the right consistency, alcohol contents, etc., etc.
Right.
Once you then got your flavor house kind of ready and your packs ready, you then have to find manufacturers who are going to then co-pack your drinks. In parallel to that, you've got to find ingredient suppliers. That also takes its own time as well. It's not an easy process. I'd say like from idea to can in hand will probably take you 12 to 18 months, and it is a very costly industry. Drinks, I think everyone wants to create their own drink. It's such a fashionable thing to do. I'm learning about it right now, but it requires a lot of money behind it. It's not one that you can start with and think you're going to make a profit from day one. It's a lot of R&D costs and a lot of marketing costs to go with it.
And who thought of the name Dosha?
My sister, yeah, she was the one who really follows Ayurveda as well, and you know we obviously knew about it as well, but we think dosha, it's a powerful name. It means different things when you say vata dosha versus dosha on its own, but it means one of your three energies from an Ayurvedic perspective.
That's really interesting that you've managed to bring that in as well. Like I recently only learned about the doshas a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it makes so much sense. I mean, they tell you this is your constitution, and you're like, and you're this type of person, your energy levels, or even the way you look, height, your weight,
everything.
Like, and it's crazy because someone said to me, "You're this." I was like, "Oh, let me just go and YouTube that." Then I was like, "Oh my God, she was right."
Yeah.
From your frame to your build and everything. It was
and what's really impressive is they can also tell just by taking your heart, your pulse, what's out of balance that day or that month, and then what to take to kind of bring you back into balance. I was just in Goa in January for like a Panchakarma retreat where they it's like almost like a 14 to 21 day detox where they understand what your elevated doshas and then try and bring them down and help cleanse your body from all angles. So it was fascinating, and how you feel at the end of that as well.
I remember when I first had mine done. So she's doing that, and she said to me, "So you've had a fatty liver." I'm like, "How does she know?" Like she's just like touching me there, like. And then she said these few other things which were all right, and I was like, "Okay, this is really weird." Like I was literally gobsmacked. That she could tell me that by just doing this. Yeah,
it's incredible. I think Ayurveda is now becoming more prominent again in the West. I think what happened was obviously it was very prominent in India, but then during the British rule, it really got suppressed because it was against Western norms. But it's obviously now re-emerged in India, and almost in every shop you find in every street you find some sort of Ayurvedic shop. But I think naturally it's starting to come into the Western market. If you think some of the skincare brands now are really, promoting Ayurveda and different Ayurvedic herbs. So we're seeing, a lot of like Gotu Cola now is really coming into the skincare market. It's actually in one of our drinks here as well. But you can't really find it anywhere else. Or even Tulsi, for example, right? Us Indians have been drinking Tulsi for years, but as far as I know, I think Dosha is the only can on the market that's got Tulsi in it as a drink in the UK. So it's interesting.
Yeah, you're so right. Like when we were little, they'd be like, put a haldi pack on your face, turmeric pack, and now it's like it's fashionable to have a turmeric shot, and you're paying like, I don't know, £4 or £5 for it, and your mum's like, I can make that at home.
Or the ginger shots.
Yes.
Yeah, we used to have those as kids.
Exactly. You're not well, we wouldn't have medicine. You'd be like, hey, have a ginger shot. Yeah, no, it's so interesting. So what's the vision now for Gully? And Dosha, actually.
For Gully,
more trucks.
more trucks.
We we were in the process of ordering one this at the start of the year, but
Yeah.
circumstances didn't allow that.
Yeah, truck 3 is the next thing, and we have a really great concept. It's going to be something again that's going to be totally game changing. It's just when it's the right time, we'll release that.
Okay.
And then Gully, I think we're already doing a lot of weddings and birthdays and private events, and I think the aim is to keep growing that, because what we've seen is people are getting a bit bored of your kind of sit down catering wedding dinners now, right? Or if you're having a Mehndi night or Sangeet night, people want something different at their house or at their venue. They're saying, I don't want like the standard caterers to come down and we sit around a table and drink, our Coke. They're like, actually, a food truck's quite cool. It's different. Like you can customize your wraps or your rice boxes or your charts in front of you. It looks amazing. I can get photos on the screens and everything.
Yeah.
So we're really breaking into that kind of Mehndi or wedding event space, but we've still got a long way to go there.
And Dorsha's new. So
Dorsha's new, but yeah, the aim is to be at kind of every health shop you can find, and potentially in some of the big supermarkets one day.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done so much already.
Yeah,
You
hopefully.
must be really proud.
Probably still got a long way
We're
to
lucky.
go.
We're lucky.
We're blessed. It's not
Yeah,
us.
blessed
It's
and-
God. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just, I love it that it was just because you retired.
Yeah.
This is how it started.
Yeah, because I got on someone's nerves, didn't I?
Yeah.
No, we loved it. And it's been an amazing journey so far.
Yeah.
And you're always looking to expand, and you think, where can I go? What can I do next? What can I do next? And it's just lovely learning it all. And I think everyone needs to be on that kind of a journey, learning something new
All the time.
all the time.
It's
Keeps
never
you
too-
young.
It's never too late to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start something new.
Yeah.
Love that. Anything else you'd like to add?
Really, the help. To be fair, one thing within as much as everyone says about families, Asian families, we were very. I mean, I was very lucky that I had my son, I had my wife really pushing us. So when the old adage where people used to laugh, oh, it's a family business kind of thing. I really can say Gully originally started off as a family business, and we took that into our staff as well, kind of thing. So my wife was on the table. When we were designing the trucks, we wanted holy colours.
Right.
Yeah, on the trucks. I wanted a mixture of Britain and India, so I got the flags and I got the sites of India and London. And my wife wanted something different. His wife wanted something different, and we put them all together.
Yeah.
And all the families sat around the table, and it's just amazing that it helps the family grow a lot
Yes.
more. So you're all invested into a project, and it's fun. It's so much fun rather
Yeah.
than just sit there and watch TV all day and watch some cereal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The Indian serials
Yeah.
or even Netflix.
Yeah.
No, I love that. So everyone's input.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Of course.
And the encouragement,
life.
that's all. You get nothing but the best encouragement from your family and no one else around you.
Thank you. So exciting. Avi, would you mind telling the camera there how to get hold of you guys? Your
Yep.
social handles, websites, and if somebody wanted to contact you for any tips,
Yep.
if you're open to that.
Yeah, of course. The easiest way to contact us is through our website, so gullyuk.com. On that, you'll see a contact us button, and then you can fill out that form. That will tell you about, any events you've got, number of people. You just fill that out, and one of our team will get back to you. Normally within 24 hours, that's our promise. So it's not one of those that you send it in, and then you hope in a couple of weeks someone will call you back. We really tried to get back in 24 hours. Our Instagram's gully.uk. You can follow us there and follow our journey there. That's been growing, and it's always quite fun. We put some kind of behind the scenes content on that. And if you come to any of those channels, I also monitor those inboxes, so I'm also happy to have a conversation and share tips or advice if anyone has anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got back to me within 24 hours.
Okay, good. Good. I actually think that's such an important tip, by the way, for any business. It's like, I don't know what the stat was, but when people are inquiring about a service or a business, it's like the speed of response is normally one of the biggest indicators on whether they're going to purchase you or not. Because by then they're obviously probably reaching out to 5 other people, right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
I totally agree with you there. I'm somebody who gets back to people straight away.
Yeah.
And people sometimes are like, oh, wow, thank you for your response.
Yeah.
They think it's really quick. But, I just think if you're making an inquiry with me, it's like I should honour the fact that you've chosen me to just ask a question, whether you go with me or not.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree.
Yeah. I love that. 24 hours.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Founder in the Chair. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, share and like from wherever you are watching or listening. Thank you.